I think just find those things that you enjoy doing and still find a way to do them, and just stay connected as best you can with people.
7th, if I have the date correct. And this is our daily drop-in. This is purely 100% here for you, supporting you, whatever you need. Every morning, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. Eastern time, right here in the private Facebook group. If you are hearing this on the Teach Better Talk podcast, or you are watching this on YouTube or on our page, the best way to get in here and interact with us and with special guests like the guy I got with me right now is to get into the Facebook group. So go to teachbettergroup.com or search Teach Better Team on Facebook, and you'll be able to get in here and actually interact with us live right now every morning, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. So today I'm pumped. I got the hoodie on and everything for Punk Rock Classrooms. I'm here with Mr. Michael Earnshaw, who is, I'm going to say, you're a friend of mine. I think we would consider each other friends at this point, beyond colleagues.
Yeah, definitely I would.
Right? And super pumped. I don't remember when we eventually first met, but you've been on the podcast before. You came out to Teach Better 19 and killed it. And then we got to hang out for a little bit at IdeaCon as well in Illinois, right. What a month ago or so. So yeah. It's been fun. We're all, you have a lot of stuff going on, and it's been awesome watching you create new and cool ideas to support teachers and stuff as well. So I've been excited about that. I'm bringing up I can bring up my phone here because make sure I see everyone that's going on and the comments that are being made. So I want to get into that because I got some people chiming in saying hello. So hi, Alex. Hi, Ray, of course. What's up, Kelly? Dave Schmidto's in the house. And other people watching right now. Alex says good morning, Jeff and Mike. Everyone else saying good morning there. Mike, super excited to have you on, man. I know it's an early morning for you because you're not necessarily in your building right now. So like maybe it's a slightly different wake up time normally. Has that changed for you right now? Well, let me back up before I get into that. Let's do this first. Assuming not everyone knows who you are that's watching, can you give us the gist on who you are? Where are you at? What's your role in education and where you're at right now? Kind of a deal.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm an elementary school principal. It's my 6th year doing that role. I'm in Lansing, Illinois, which it's funny because it's a town. It's like literally the last town before you go into Indiana. Mm-hmm. So I live in Indiana, right over the border. But I work in Illinois. So it's been interesting this time because the states, obviously aren't on the same page when things are kind of happening with all these shelter and what's going on. So it's interesting trying to keep balance of both of the two because my kids are on a different schedule than what's going on.
They're in Indiana, right? Yeah,
right.
So who went first as far as taking the measures? Was it Illinois or Indiana?
It kind of happened. It happened about, I think it was the same day, or maybe Indiana. I think they called it on a Thursday, and then Illinois called it Friday, the very next day. Indiana's right off the bat, though, was a later date out where Illinois originally said, April 7th.
Yeah.
Now my kids are scheduled to go back May 1st. We're scheduled in Illinois to go back tentatively, I think the 21st.
Okay.
So it's
so you kind of should figure out home life is here, but then work life is here, and how do I adjust that and everything. So wow, that's crazy. What's up, Joe? Good morning, Adam. Morning, Veronica. Awesome to have you here. So Mike, as a principal, and we talked about this last night when Ray and I were on Master Chat, going live on our Facebook page about Master Chat. We mentioned about having you on here. One of the things that I know about you is that you're never in your office, right? You're always in the hallways, always cruising around. You've got your sweet little mobile cart that you take with you everywhere, and you're. I would argue actually that a lot of times if we said what's your job, a lot of your time your job is just to be in classrooms all the time. You're always bouncing around, interacting. So right now you can't do that. How are you personally coping? Not only to, I'm sure what that is for you, just on an emotional level, loss with the interaction, but also the the value that brings every day to your teachers and your students. What are you doing right now to try and compensate for that, to fill that gap that's happening now? Or what's going on? Are you utilizing anything, or are you just not able to? Like, where are you at in your headspace?
No, it's really difficult. Because it's not just like, hey, we're on a winter break or a spring break. It's a time where none of us, I mean, the adults, educators, don't know what's going to happen, we've never experienced it. So for me, what I've been doing is almost daily sending out like a YouTube video to all, I send it out. I put it on my Twitter. I put it on Instagram. I send it out through our email blast. I send it out through the Remind that parents have signed up for. I ask my staff if they're able to send out through their class dojos. And it's just because, I can sit here and I can call all my students, but I can't call 525 students every single day. So I feel like this is a way they can at least see my face, hear my voice, see that I'm going through the same thing as them. So some of the things we were doing last week is, I sent a video, just me talking, saying, hey, how's it going? Keep safe. I'm here. We're thinking about you. I did a video with my daughter. I did a video of me showing some kids how to do skateboard tricks.
Nice. I was about to ask that. Skateboards. That's good to know.
Because kids have been asking me, like, can you teach me how to do tricks? I said, well, yeah, when it gets nice, the weather gets nicer out, the spring hits. So I figured what better time than now to show a video. They can watch as much as they want. And then we started doing, the One Book, One School. We were doing Charlotte's Web. So we continued those readings, which is cool because, I filmed one with myself. Some of the staff members have read. We had Nick Mann from Teacher Fit. He read a chapter for our kids. Cool. I got a couple other special guests lined up for next week. My son read a chapter yesterday. So just things like that. I want to do a Zoom. Almost, I saw last night on Instagram another principal doing like a kind of a meet and greet, coffee with the principal.
Yep.
But I'm curious to see how many, if you get 300 families signed in, it could go one of two ways. Because they could start asking questions I don't have the answers for. And I would just like it to be more kind of informal. But so that's with the families. With the staff, though, I've texted every single one individually. I've made some phone calls, sent out emails to them. We did a Zoom the other day, and it was very just kind of informal. Just there was no agenda. It wasn't, there's a few items like, here's what I know, here's where we're going. I'll keep you posted. But actually what we're doing next week, we're starting a trivia challenge 2 days a week. Whoever wants to do it, they can sign up. They filled out a Google form. So I'm going to break it into 2 teams. We're going to go on twice a week for an hour. And I'm just going to kind of, pull a person from each team and ask them a trivia question. And it's, knowing me, it's going to be like off the wall type of trivia. So hopefully it'll be a good time, some laughs, things like that. So,
yeah. So are you guys, is this week currently your planned spring break right now? Or is that?
No.
When was your spring break?
So my personal kids are on spring break right now. So they're e-learning. Yeah, they haven't even started e-learning yet. So these past 2 weeks have been trying to find stuff for them to do to keep them occupied. Our spring break isn't until it's attached that week of Easter. So
really? Okay, so gotcha.
Like 2 more weeks.
So then how often? Well, let me really quick. I want to say good morning to Candace. Hi, Candace. Ray says he's the coolest principal ever. Duh. Dave says rock stars in real life and in education. Thanks, Dave. Ray loves your idea of sending a YouTube video daily. I do too. Mark Heller, what's up, Mark? Hi, Tammy. Top of the morning to everyone from Tammy. Ray says she loves the lens of supportive families and teachers. And trivia sounds fun. I love the video thing, and I think that's really, really important because one of the things that I've talked about a few times is that here in Stowe, I love our schools. Our teachers are phenomenal. But one thing I wish they would do it. Now, right now is our spring break, so like it's planned anyway. One thing I hope I'll say I hope they do is getting on video more because my kids miss their teachers. Like my daughter misses school in general, but my son just misses. He actually said I miss my teacher's face, and I emailed her that. She's like, "Oh my god, my heart's breaking." But like that's the thing is like some of these kids just want to see you. I was having we've been doing sort of like these random like neighborhood happy hours where we all just go to the end of our driveway and have a drink. Social distancing, and 2 doors down, he's an art teacher, and he's he was like talking to me last night about struggling with like they're like he's working on like they do things like clay, right?
Okay.
Which you can't really do right now because he doesn't know if a kid has any way of getting clay or things. So he's trying to think of through things that they can do naturally. So he's doing things like he's going to do videos on like how to create things like from rocks and grass and stuff in your yard. And one of the things I told him, I said the other thing is just getting you on video. I said just he's got this beautiful like wavy like crazy hair, like he's just known for him. Like just them seeing your face and that like is enough for them. Because you may be the only person that they feel cares about them.
Right.
That could be that's the focus, and that's what I've seen so many focus on. So so I love the YouTube thing. That's great because your kids, I guarantee they miss you. They miss you dropping and they miss the skateboard stuff. So now, even though they're not able to interact with you in person, they're able to see you every day, right? They're able to get some of that stuff. Curious with your teachers, how are you check? Is it like a daily check-in with them? Is it a scheduled weekly thing that you're doing? Like how often are you checking in with your staff? I mean, obviously. I know you, so they have access to you anytime they need you. But like, how often are you, or how often are you planning like those, like either hangouts or whatever you're doing with them? How often is that happening?
So last Saturday was the day. Saturday evening, I kind of sent my personal text every single one. It was right after we did a family Zoom hangout, so it was kind of nice. We had the whole family on a Zoom. Then I was like, I'm checking on all of them now, and so. We're going to do the trivia scheduled every Tuesday and Thursday. So it's kind of like those 2 days in the middle of the week, right then and there. But, they kind of text me as they need me or call me or whatnot. It's not like not really, a scheduled thing, kind of like how school is. I don't think I ever had a scheduled like meeting with somebody. Even when we did our post evaluations, they'd just be like, hey, can I just grab you right now? Because I see you're not in a room. Come do my post. I'm like, all right, that's fine. So, that's kind of how the communication with them has been as well. So I know some of the teachers, they've got scheduled. Now it's interesting because we're not an e-learning district. Like in Illinois, you have to like put in an application and be approved e-learning. So our district has not gone that route yet. So instead we're doing like these at-home learning activities where we've created on March 16th, the day before, the Illinois went on no schools on the 17th, our teachers got together, and each grade level just created plans. We created plans for the rest of the year because we said, who knows what's going to happen if we go till summer, at least we have everything done. Yep. So we've been sending those out, and those plans were made for, kids don't need much technology. They don't need any new instruction. They shouldn't need parental support. We've gotten reviews from parents. Some parents think there's not enough. It's not, in-depth enough. Some are fine with it. But the thing was, what was nice, because contractually, we can't ask them to work right now during this time. Like, so we can't say, hey, you need to set up meetings with your kids virtually. But I mean, many of my staff, at least in my building, have been doing it just on their own. Sure. And I jumped in a third grade Zoom the other day, and there was, maybe eight or nine kids were there. And it was nice because it was very kind of informal. It was just the teacher there kind of like just checking in on them. She goes, hey, we're going to read this book. If you don't have it, you can jump on, Tumble Books, and it's there. So just kind of, that's just that daily check-in. And it's not just for the kids. Like as educators, we need it too. I mean,
yeah, no kidding.
It's a difficult time for everybody. So
it really is. I want to get to a few comments here. So Adam asks, hey, Mike, so is it Jeans Day every day now? And Ray comment, or sweatpants.
I don't think I've worn a pair of jeans since this happened. I got I've been wearing basketball shorts every day.
I love it. Alex is asking, can we do a Teach Better trivia night? Ooh, that's something to think about, Ray. Maybe put that in the plans there. Jody says, good morning, Jody. Jen Molitor is here. Jen says, we're getting together a video montage of each team of teachers to put out on our website. Ooh, I like that. That's going to be cool to see. You should definitely share that out when that gets done. Laura, good morning, Laura. Laura says, there was nothing crazier than seeing 20 third graders in my son's class do a Zoom class together. They were all saying hi to each other for 20 minutes. I totally get that. So I had my son's got the there's an app you can get, like he has a Kindle Fire. So the app, it's Kids Messenger. So it connects through your parents' Facebook messages. So I have full control. I can see everything that goes on, and I control whose kids, whatever. And we've got a bunch of parents that are connected. But watching my son on the Kindle with one of his buddies at school that that he's not even in the same class, but they just see each other like in lunch in the hall. They were just like, we had no idea. I was right next to them. I had no idea what they were doing, but they were just laughing for like 30 minutes. Just that's hilarious laughing. And it's just, they miss each other. So I love the idea of a Zoom of 20 to 30 kids in there is really, really cool. So Tammy says, I've gotten really great feedback from my students and their parents about our Zoom sessions. They love it. I have story time in the morning and then a small group session. So the students have 2 opportunities a day to see me and their classmates. That's awesome, Tammy. Giving them, I think that's the biggest piece, is giving them the opportunity to interact with you. Some, like you said, like there was 8 or 9 on there. Some may not jump on. You may have too many jump on, but giving them an opportunity to get that, I think is so important. So Jody says, Ray, I literally got up, showered, and just put on a comfy dress. I just needed to get work ready today, which is something we touched on last night. I think, I don't know when it was, what live, we've been doing a lot of live videos. I'm not sure which one it was, but we were talking about like the power of pants, power of getting dressed in the morning. It's something, I've been working from home for 10, almost 15 years. And I still like, it's the act of getting dressed, whether it's just in the jeans and the sweatshirt like I have on today. The act of getting dressed is so powerful in the morning for when you need to get into your mindset. I was saying then, like, I don't right now, but there are many days where I put on shoes and everything, like where I would be ready to go, just because I have to do that, that sort of that mental process. So and she mentioned that they're getting ready there. So we got more coming in here. So Candace says we played Jeopardy on Zoom and my kids loved it. I did past material and questions about the classroom. How many tables does our classroom have, etc. Cool. That's really cool, Candace. That's awesome. And Ray's confirming we all need those personal check-ins blended with the fun staff bonding activities. So that's good. Alex jokingly replied, showering? Is that like a necessary thing? And going there. So we have, let's see, who is this? Sorry, they're going back and forth about showering now. Adam says we have office hours from 9 to 11, so I'll get ready soon. Adam said he finally brushed his hair after 2 days only because we had a Zoom. Going through here, I'm trying to look for if there's questions in here and stuff. So Jody says the co-teacher and her have done scavenger hunts with their class. We give them an item and they go find it in their house and bring it back. That's cool. The best part is when the families start helping and participating. That's really cool. They had Adam. They did a virtual Spirit Week through Facebook, which is and he said great response. That was really cool. Alex says their school is also doing a Spirit Week next week. He says hashtag pretzel pride. So a lot of that's I've been loving seeing a lot of that stuff going on. I've seen a bunch of these Spirit Weeks and different things happen there. Good morning, Kimberly. Good to see you as well. I had a question I was going to ask you, but I forgot. I do want to mention, if you are listening right now on Teach Better Talk podcast or watching this on YouTube or somewhere else in the world that's not our private Facebook group, if you want to get in on the action and be able to ask, our guest questions or get your thoughts in or joke with Adam and Alex about showering and putting on sweatpants or whatever, the best way to do that, obviously, is here in our private Facebook group. So go to teachbettergroup.com to get in there, or just search Teach Better Team on Facebook. Our page will come up. You can like that, of course, and then you can request to get in the group. We'll get you in here. It's an awesome group, regardless of all this. Just a great place to jump in. I also do want to mention that, along with this video will then go up on our YouTube channel and then also as an audio form on our Teach Better Talk podcast. So we are getting 5 additional bonus episodes every week right now on the podcast, which is super cool because I had this goal of like 2021 to do 7 podcast episodes a week. Right now, we have been doing 3, 2 interviews plus 1 bonus. Now we're doing our 2 interviews plus 5 bonus. So we're getting my 7. So we just decided to get there a year early. It's been a little crazy, but a lot of fun. It was one of the things we said, how can we best support? So we did things like there's a brand new course over at the Academy. We've got vlogs coming out every day. Master Chat was on fire last night. We have a bunch of new downloads, a bunch of new tutorial playlists going out on the YouTube channel. So a lot of really cool stuff doing. So make sure you're checking out teachbetter.com, the Academy, teachbetteracademy.com, and all that. And then get in this group so you can chat with people like Mike. So I'm trying to see who else is on here. Alex, is that like your thing? Is it Freeport Pretzels? Is that your mascot? Because if it is, it's probably the coolest mascot ever. I didn't know that, but Yeah. So Ray does a nice little commercial here. Said, need motivation getting dressed? Join our daily drop in. When we throw you on camera, or you'll often make sure your hair is done. There you go. So if you want to come on with us, then you have to do that. So anyway, all right, I'm getting more in here, Mike. So let me ask you, as more comments are thrown in here, with your conversations, both with students, with families, with teachers, and then yourself, what's the most challenging point right now for let's do you personally, and then also for your staff? Like, what's the biggest challenge that you guys are facing during all this mix? Is it the fact that you weren't already in e-learning school? Is it just missing the kids? Is it just a logistical thing? Like, what do you think is the thing that is the most challenging right now for you, and then also for your staff?
I think that it just came so sudden. I don't think it doesn't matter that we weren't e-learning or not. Because I've got my own views on e-learning. I've seen it done well, I've seen it done poorly. So I just think literally, my wife and I were talking last night how just like the snap of a finger. I remember last night's master retreat, like you said, was on fire. The week before, I moderated, and we happened to be. She was working. Like her hours have been cut now because she's in healthcare, so there's not as many patients. It happened so quickly, and I think that's the hardest thing for everyone. Like, there was no time to plan. Illinois was announced Friday.
Mm-hmm.
It
was I was gonna say it was like right at the end of school. Yeah.
And our school board said, we're not going to have kids come Monday, even though we can. That's the day the teachers will plan. So there wasn't even, a goodbye. Hey, don't worry. We're here thinking about you. It just was, this is it. Mm-hmm. And now, you see across the country, there are schools who already closed the remainder of the year. So just how quick it happened, and just not knowing what's going to happen, I think, is the toughest thing. Gotcha. Lessons and things like that. That can come easily, especially for educators that know what they're doing. So
sure, I think you hit it right, and that's what I've noticed. It is, and it seems obvious, but it's the unknown. It's right. Are we starting back next week? And if so, what exactly are we doing? Or and then what happens if we start back, but then things get worse and we have to pull back, or we have to change, or what is it? What, doing that unknown. And like you said, the quickness was crazy. So I was actually on my way from Ohio to Chicago with Chad and Kyle, who's on our team. And we were on our way. We were supposed to be doing a team meeting in Chicago that weekend that it stopped in Illinois. And Illinois was saying, like, they weren't too worried. So we're like, okay, talked to the team. Everyone was okay. On our way there, it was just like, boom, city after city, state after state. And we're like, whoa, like, it was crazy. Our 6-hour drive, we felt like we were listening to like apocalyptic movie on our way out there. And then obviously, so we called, we didn't have the team meeting or anything like that. And whatever, but like, it was just crazy. And that's when it happened with Illinois, because it went from like, oh, well, they're not really saying anything, we're not super worried, there's been like one, a couple cases here or there, they don't see good. And then it was like, by the end of the day, Friday, it's like, oh, never mind, we're not, like, we're all gone, we're all done. And it did that. Each state got there at a different point, but it happened quick like that for everyone. And I think when you're in a state and your state isn't necessarily worried about it, you might hear about another state. You might have heard that Ohio was moving quick on closing it, but that didn't necessarily mean that it was obviously bad or anything you had to worry about, because your state would call it. So yeah, the quickness was crazy. That's not an easy position to put anyone in, let alone teachers trying to figure out what to do now, right? And the logistics of it and stuff. So I want to get to Laura. Good morning, Laura. Laura says, we are struggling because the district created kind of sad packets for our kids through the 6th, but after that, we are just guessing. Our kids are 1-to-1, but they don't have devices at home, so the district is just now surveying them to figure out what is next. They also didn't pass out packets until the 16th. Well, we had 30% of students in attendance, so I'm concerned about even finding my 7th graders when the government extends this time. That is definitely tough there. I know our school was 1-to-1 or almost all 1-to-1, but they did we closed on, I can't remember what day it was, but then the following week we had a day where anyone who didn't have a device could go get it. So I know Stowe handed out like 3,000 different devices so that people can get 1-on-1 and stuff like that. But that is tough. I'll get through. There's other questions in here. I see Ray and Laura go back and forth on things, getting things figured out. Ray said, you're right, Mike. That was so hard that things ended so fast with no goodbye. And Ray's talked about that a few times. It was just kind of like, well, like, I guess goodbye. Like, we have no idea when we're going to see the kids again. We have no idea what's going on, which is really tough. So Chad says teachers had to, quote unquote, Apollo 13, an entire new learning experience without any notice. Just an amazing feat. It's not the states or the government. It's teachers in the trenches making all the function at all, like making this work. So,
yeah, I was amazed with when we got our teachers together on that Monday the 16th, and the principals, like we that weekend before the 16th, we had conference call after conference call. When we brought the teachers in Monday, we said, look, here's what you need to create. Here's the parameters we want. I mean, I was in charge of third grade. Each administrator in the district got a grade level they were in charge of. And I was amazed with just, the camaraderie and the unity when all the third graders, teachers in our district came together and just cranked out, which, I mean, for what we asked them to do, I mean, it was, to me, it's quality work. It's not like building, new lessons like they would be doing the rest of the school year, but it's quality stuff that's going to keep them engaged and keep them learning and keep their minds working during this time. So it's the power of teachers, what they were able to do. It was across the country too, not just my district.
And we're seeing that again and again. I've said this, I feel like a broken record, but at Teach Better 19, I talked about like the thing that gives me hope for the world, was that room full of teachers that we had that all came back all together to be better. Like, I'm seeing that again and again now. Like, this is a crazy time, but like, what gives me hope for our future is like how teachers are just coming together, like you said, across the country,
right? And
sharing it's the sharing and the I'm here for you and the help is ridiculously awesome right now. It's crazy. Like, that is a really positive thing that I'm seeing. And what I hope happens is after we get through all this and when the dust settles, that still is there, that remains there. Right. We continue to do it because that's going to make us better regardless. So like that's positive you want to pull out of that. Mark says he talked to some college seniors who really struggle with being told to clear out and go home in 24 hours, realize they may not see many of their friends ever again. Yeah, a lot of college kids got it was like, hey, you got to get out 24, 30 hours, gone. And it's like, what do you do then? Do you clear out your dorm or your apartment, or do you see your friends? Like, do you have time for both? And I've talked to a couple too that I know that are in college, and one of our interns as well, and they had no idea what was going on. If they're close to graduation, like, is this going to affect my graduation? Am I now a bunch of them, they're not going to get to walk, like all these different things. Like, so this goes, beyond K-12, it goes up into college. And then obviously you could say the same for people that work and they have their work friends and people they love, their colleagues. And does this affect it? Am I going to end up losing my job? Is our business going to shut down because they're losing it? And I'm never going to see these people again because now we're not connecting. Now, hopefully, with our technology and social media that we have, we're able to stay connected with friends and family better than we might have been able to do, 20 years ago.
Right.
Yeah. Kimberly seconds that the quickness was the challenge. She found out on Thursday, 2 weeks ago at 11 a.m. that we had to get everything for 2 weeks sent home that day. They were allowed to come back and pick stuff up for themselves the next day. So it was just super quick, which is the problem there. We're getting a lot of comments here, Mike, so I'm going to keep reading them off for you here. Adam is asking, Mike, have you thought of a community gathering once everything is cleared up? It's something I want to do for my school. Community gathering, I'm assuming, Adam, you're talking about like community outside of staff and students, but like reaching out to the community. Is that what you're thinking? And I would assume you mean, or are you thinking like after all this clears up and get back into school, you're going to bring everyone together? I'm not sure what exactly what you're mentioning there, but I'm good with either one. Are you, that leads me to a question, I think, are you to that point yet, Mike, where you are planning, discussing, talking either amongst your admin team and your other colleagues there or with your staff about what's the plans for if we do go back on, the date that's out there right now? What is it, April 21st? Like, what's our first step when we get back into class? Are you there yet? Is it right now, or is it just let's keep getting through where we're at right now?
No, yeah, we had a district. We had like a district level meeting the other day, and then we had principals. We met yesterday, and we're not even at that point. Like we're trying to look like, let's see if that's the date they're going to give us. We already know like state testing's gone. We've already talked about some of our, if we do go back end of the year activities, some we're going to have still. There's some that we just wouldn't be able to pull off at this point.
Yep.
I know for me, if we do go back, hopefully before the year's over, I mean, I'm going to let my staff know, like, your main focus right now is just to reconnect with your kids. I mean, don't worry about trying to pick up that curriculum map and pick up where you're supposed to be or where you left off. Like, we'll figure that out later. But right now, you just got to reconnect with the kids, make sure they're okay, make sure everything, because like you were saying, Jeff, I mean, we just saw one of the local coffee shops put a Facebook post up yesterday that they were closing down just because these 2 weeks have already hurt them that bad that they have to be done. So
yeah,
a lot of our students have parents who still have to work. They're not on salary. They don't have jobs where they can stay at home. So it's scary to think like what they may be going through. So
yeah, the economic impact on local level is
right.
is going to be really interesting to see and kind of scary to think about. So I do want to go here, and Ray mentioned it, and I'm glad she did because I was going to get us there eventually, but Ray's getting us there faster. So Ray's asking, Mike, can you talk about your podcast and the stuff you do for teachers outside of your principal role in the school building? So you do quite a bit of things outside of being a principal in all your quote unquote spare time. One is something that I'm wearing right here with the Punk Rock Classroom, your podcast, the different things. I know, Education Never Dies. Can you kind of give us a rundown of like insight into the world? What are these? You got a bunch of different things going on. Like share.
Right. We can talk about the podcast first. So it's I met my co-host Josh Buckley on a Mastery chat. Probably
nice. I don't know if I knew that. I don't know if I knew it was their Mastery chat. That's awesome.
There was a Mastery chat in the summertime. I want to say it was like maybe June or July. And in one of my responses, I had dropped a link to a blog I wrote. And in the blog, I had referenced a band. And then Josh it's interesting because that was the first time he'd ever done a Mastery chat. So he commented like, oh my God, this guy quoted, Sick of It All in an educational blog. And so then him and I just kind of started talking back and forth throughout the summer. We had a lot of the same interests. He's in Arizona now, but he grew up in like the Michigan area. Okay. So him and I started talking. He's like, have you ever thought about doing a podcast? I'm like, well, I'd like to. I have no idea what to do, how to, record and post. He's like, oh, don't worry, I know how to do it. So we talked throughout the summer. And then once, we let the school year kind of get rolling, everyone got settled and we started recording. Cause I remember it was when Teach Better came around, I think we had like our second episode come out. That week or the week before. So
you mean when the turned to conference?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. So we've been doing it since then. We started off doing an episode twice a month. And we were getting some good feedback. So we started doing those weeks. We don't do a full episode. We'll do like a reflection piece where either him or I talk for 10 minutes about, reflecting on something we discussed or anything in general. And, it's kind of taken off. We got gear going, and we submitted our application for Podcasters Row to come out to Teach Better 20. Yeah, talking with Hans about that. So we're excited to do that. But we got some big plans for it. We're going to start having guests on finally. We think. Okay. Because that's something a lot of people have been asking us about. Like, hey, when are you going to have guests? Because up at this point, it's always just been him and I. So. We got some ideas to start rolling out probably within the next month. I'm a writer, signed with EduMatch, so I'm currently working on a book. Come out with them. It'll probably come, I'm thinking like spring 2021. What
can you tell us about the book? Because I know some things about it, but I don't know what's public or what was my luck of talking to you in person. So what can you give us about the book?
So the book basically is it's about transforming school culture, because I feel, that's one of my passions. I've been very, successful with it. So, there's a little twist to it. If you notice, the Twitter handle changed, and I'll mention things about recipes and dishes. So give you a little hint of maybe the vein of where the book's going with that. But, when Sarah and I talked about it. Sarah from EduMatch discussed it. We had some very cool ideas and different ways we can take the project than just, all right, here's your book. So I'm excited about it. I wrote got another recipe written last night. I'm very excited about. So Yeah,
I
so
got
spring
the
2021.
scroll and text across the bottom. So if you don't have Mike connected to you on there, it's Edu Chef Earnshaw. So that does give you a little hint into the book, and he mentioned recipe. So I'm excited about it. I think it's gonna be really cool. So, and then you also are involved, obviously, with this. It's sort of a movement, if you will, right? Of Education Never Dies. Can you give us what is that? What's going on with that? What is that?
That's interesting how that came about. So Michael Murphy, he's a guy I met on Twitter about a year ago. He invited me to Voxer to join like this Fit Leaders Voxer group, and it was probably the beginning of December of 2019 where he sends me a message like, "Hey, would you and Josh want to get in this Voxer group with Staff Room, Che and Pav?" I'm like, I mean, yeah, of course I'll do it. I'm like, Josh isn't on Voxer. Let me see if I can get him on. And so it was the 5 of us originally, just, Staff Room, Josh and I, and then Michael Murphy. And we slowly started adding some people, like Santiago Meza, Taylor Armstrong, Tony Coppola, Christine Ravisi Weinstein. And so there was 9 of us in there. And we just kind of were talking about a lot of things. We discussed, we would one day we'd be talking about like lesson plans. It's like, what's the true purpose of a lesson plan? Because between the 9 of us, we've got, teachers, administrators, building level administrators, district level administrators. So it's nice. It's a great mixture. And, we just would talk about all our different viewpoints. We realized we all are so different, yet we all have kind of like the same, like our goal is the same with education. And then the next day our conversation would be, is Die Hard truly a Christmas movie? So our conversations, would be from very serious things to just fun topics. And, we had kind of started playing around with like, well, where could, this go? Someone mentioned, retitle the group to Education Never Dies. I came back, I go, you guys realize that you take the first letters, it says end. And we started playing around with like, well, the end is just the beginning, education never dies. And just between our conversations, we kind of were like, well, let's start a chat, so we didn't want to just roll out a chat and that would be it. So we created a website that's up. It's educationneverdies.com. And our chat, we've had I think this Wednesday, it's Wednesday nights, 8:30 Central Time. It's 3 questions. This was our 4th week, and we're averaging about, the first couple of weeks, I think we're about 45 participants. This past Wednesday, I think we had like 65 participants, not counting the nine of us. And we actually just launched our new after hours chat, kind of like how when you guys do mastery chat, you jump on Facebook and do that. Yeah. So we started a Voxer group where we sent out the link. You can make your Voxer account and then they can jump in, and we post a 4th question that kind of ties with the theme of what that chat was. And I couldn't even keep up with how many people actually joined this group and were chiming in. So we've got some other ideas of where we want it to go. We don't want it just to be a chat on the website, but if you do check out the website, we have a teacher feature page where you can nominate a teacher, and we'll kind of do a showcase, a focus on them. And we also have, it's called, it's like a Dear Abby, where if you've got a question that you want, answered, maybe you're not comfortable asking your colleagues, you don't want to just put it out there in the Twitter universe so everyone can see what you're asking. Sure. You can submit it through our website, either anonymously or not, and we can then, between the 9 of us, discuss it and try to help address it and help you out. I like it. So. Yeah,
that's very cool. Bringing the community in, letting that happen. That's really cool. So got a lot of comments coming in while we were talking. So Tammy, sounds like Tammy is trying to come back. So Tammy is in Mexico. She said she's getting a little worried after 11 years in Mexico, set to return to the U.S. this summer. Did not renew her contract, and I'm looking for a job in California. She said, I did not mean to plan my big move back home during the same time as a world pandemic. Yeah, Tammy, that is crazy. We're all thinking about you. That's just rough time in there. Oh, that's rough. Yeah, I have nothing for you as far as advice either. I don't know. That's a tough spot there, but just know that we're all looking out for you. So if anybody has a spot open at a school for an amazing teacher, Tammy's trying to get back in. So hopefully that works out there. Jody had to run. Let's see if I got any questions in here. Just checking real quick while this is going. By the way, yeah, Chad commented something about that. But if you didn't catch the gist of of everything Mike said. It sounds like you should definitely get a master chat because you never know what might happen. You end up starting a podcast with someone, right? Like
That's what we
Ray.
say. If it wasn't for Mastery Chat, we wouldn't have the podcast.
Mark Heller says, love the podcast. Been listening to it for the past 2 weeks. It's one of the best.
Thank you.
Adam said he's so excited for the book. Let's see what else. Ray saying that Sarah Thomas is amazing. She is. Hey, Brienne's in here. Hi, Brienne. Good morning to you. She said that's awesome book news. Ray said that the staff room is another awesome podcast and group there. Everyone obviously agrees with that. And Tammy says that I also have a little itty bitty podcast called Time to Teach, since we're on the topic. So if you need another podcast, go find Tammy's Time to Teach. That'd be great. Speaking of podcasts, just want to mention again, if you are listening to this right now on the Teach Better Talk podcast, but you want to get in on the action, you want to be able to chat with someone live and post comments in here and get involved, best way to interact with this is in our private Facebook group at Facebook or at teachbettergroup.com, or go search Teach Better Team on Facebook. Same if you're watching this on YouTube. This has been recorded right now live here on Facebook. Every morning, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m., I've got Mr. Mike Earnshaw with me, the edu chef, right? But also the principal on a skateboard, right? I mean, so much going on involved with the podcast and Education Never Dies, and some really, really cool stuff there. So I'm curious if you could, we've been going here for a while. I don't want, I know you got things to do. So curious for everyone that's watching, listening, stuff like that. As Adam and Ray go back and forth between Team Jeff and Team Ray. Thank you, Adam. I won't forget that. Ray's mad because he went Team Jeff. For anyone right now, so we've seen some comments. We talked about the struggle of it came so fast that we don't necessarily know exactly where we're going. We're struggling. We didn't have much time to get things together. The kids are struggling because maybe they have bad internet connection. They don't have the technology. They don't have the support system at home. I miss the kids, right? I'm missing their faces. They're missing me. We don't know what's going on. All these unknowns from a leader in a building from you, and I consider you to also just be far outside of your building, just a leader in education. What are there any? Is there any advice? Is there any sort of can you calm us down? Can you soothe us out a little bit, Mike? What kind of advice do you give to just now to anyone who might be listening and watching, catching us anywhere? Who is feeling any of these different struggles, is feeling the uncertainty, the anxiety, the stress right now, what would you say to them?
That's a lot of pressure, John.
I know that's a lot. I realize that, but just so you know, just to give you a little bit of oomph, Ray just said hashtag Team Mike instead. So like you just beat both Team Jeff and Ray, your Team Mike. So now you got a little, she's got your back.
No, I would, Josh and I just discussed this last week on our podcast. The latest episode actually was an ode to you from when we got together at IdeaCon. The topic was, what's your punk? Because if you remember, you had asked me, we talked about that after my session, after I spoke. And, so I gave a shout out to you, because that was your idea.
I get caught up.
We discussed kind of, and this actually, it's funny because Josh and I tried to record it a couple weeks ago. And afterwards, I sent him a message. I said, I don't like the way that came out. And he's like, no, it was good. And then literally 10 minutes later, he goes, you know what? I don't have a good feeling about it either. So we scratched it. And we said, Josh will do another reflection episode. And then all of this came about, with the schools closing and shelters in place. So we were talking about it and we said, this is the perfect time because, when you and I talked about like, what's your punk, what's your passion? What's something that makes you. And I think that's what we all need to do. I talked with Nick Mann from Teacher Fit the other day, and now it's everyone's schedule and everyone's world is so thrown up in the air. It's so different than our normal routines we're used to, but we still have to keep those things that make us like grounded, like, so if you're a runner, make sure you're still getting out and running or working out. And if you're a writer, make sure you're still writing and keeping that flow going. If, you cook, make sure you're still creating dishes with what you can do, because having some normalcy is going to kind of help keep you, like sane. And I think just reaching out also via Zoom or Google Hangout or FaceTime, whatever you want to do. I mean, like I said, we did, my my wife did, with her work friends the other night for 2 hours. They did a Zoom call, and she said like afterwards, like this, it was so nice. She hasn't laughed that hard and so long with them. Like it was just, you're not with each other in like a restaurant or something, but just being connected. So I think just find those things that you enjoy doing and still find a way to do them, and just stay connected as best you can with people. Because I mean, if you just shelter up and watch the news all day,
your anxiety is off the charts.
Right.
And that's so true, because there's so many things that are off tilt right now, so many things that are out of balance, so many things that are unknown, new, crazy, scary, whatever, that finding your normal is so key. So I love that. That's great advice. I do want to mention that Adam did say, shh, don't tell Jeff I'm Team Ray. So thanks for going back on that, Adam. But and Brianna agrees, connection is key. I think that is so true. So find your stuff. Ray's laughing at the hashtag running, because we all know Ray doesn't run. So but you're right. I mean, that's such an important piece there. So I think that's a great way to wrap this up with find your normal, find your punk rock, right? What makes you, what balances you out, make sure you get into that. So really, really important there. Speaking of balance, I do want to mention next week, next Wednesday on the 1st, I've got the Balance Pirate coming in to help us out with that. So Sarah Johnson's going to be joining me live on our drop-in. We've got drop-ins all week. I should know this off the top of my head, but I don't. But I do want to shout out, because we got guests, I think, every day next week, or almost every day next week. So we got on Monday, Ray's got Mark Heller coming in on Monday. That's awesome. On Tuesday, you're going to get Ray and Becky Thal. Becky is such an awesome person, such an awesome member of our team. Wednesday, I got Sarah Johnson with me. On Thursday, I'm waiting to confirm, but I might have a really cool guest there with some really specific knowledge. And then on Friday, Chad will be dropping in as well. So next week, we'll get back into it. Obviously, this weekend we won't be doing our drop-ins, but if you need anything, we're here for you. We still have the new course over at teachbetteracademy.com, which is supporting a virtual classroom led by Ray. We are pumping out blogs for a week. We are really focusing those with our amazing guest bloggers to focus on things that are happening right now and the struggles that we're going through. We'll be back next Thursday with Mastery Chat. We have new series coming up on the YouTube channel. We have different, so there's like a Flipgrid tutorial. There's a quizzes tutorial. There's some more tutorials coming up as well. And then obviously the podcast, 7 episodes every week right now. And just doing everything we can to support all of you and trying to bring you some awesome folks like Mr. Earnshaw here. So, Mike, really appreciate coming on.
Thank you.
If you're listening,
appreciate you having me.
If you're listening on the podcast or watching on YouTube, please jump into the Facebook group, teachbettergroup.com, or search Teach Better Team on Facebook so you can get in here and participate with us and engage with us. Not to mention, just outside of these videos, also this group is just a great place to connect with other educators that are here to help and collaborate and do whatever you need to do. So Jen says, thanks, guys. Great to connect. Who's saying take a pic of those books? I'm not sure what you're talking about, Mark, but I'll take a picture of books.
I think Alex was asking what was behind.
Oh, that was
so
okay. Sorry, I got you.
About that bookshelf.
On the bookshelf. Okay, I missed some of the questions there. Thanks, Mike. I'm glad you're doing my job. Kimberly says bye.
Thank you.
Chad Ostrowski Ray says Chad takes care of the runner for her. A lot of times I'll go run for a few miles. Be like, hey, Ray, I did 5 miles. I got one for you. So I just take 4, you take the 1. It's teamwork. Alex says, sidebar, anyone else wondering what is on Jeff's bookshelf behind him? Okay. Are you talking? So, like, obviously back here is a whole bunch of Teach Better stuff, but back there I got a whole bunch of stuff. I will take a picture of all the books that are on there, and I will share that out on my Twitter. So if you follow me at Jeff Gargis, I'll share that out. So happy to do that. I have more books other places, but those are like it's like my reference shelf. I don't know if you've ever heard me talk about how I read books. Like, I don't read books like I don't read them really. I always have like 9 books that have like bookmarks in it because I use them as reference. Where I'm like, oh, I need this, so I go to that book or that writer or whatever, and that's how I kind of get my stuff. So very cool. Thanks guys for doing this. Back to planning. That was from who was that? That was from Mark. Mark, awesome to have you in. Thanks for jumping in. Veronica, thank you. Brian, thank you. Everyone who commented, thank you very much. Mike, huge thanks for you coming on, man. Really, really appreciate it. Best place to connect with you is,
thanks for having
from
me.
what I know, best place to connect with you is Twitter, correct?
Yes,
So throwing that up
definitely.
really quick, scrolling across here. So you can see that at EduChef Earnshaw is the best place to grab with Mike. Very, very active, obviously, on Twitter. You probably also find him by like following the hashtag Punk Rock Classrooms or hashtag Education Never Dies and get into that. When is that chat? Again,
so the Education Never Dies chat is Wednesdays at 8:30 Central. So it's right after Kids Deserve It will end, and we start up.
Get right into it. Awesome. And the podcast, obviously, you can find a podcast on any and all your podcast channels. And then it's punkrockclassrooms.com, correct, too, right?
No, our website is
you got educationneverddies.com website.
Right.
Where's the best place for Punk Rock Classroom? Just go to your podcast, your favorite podcast platform.
Yes.
Where do they get this? I mean, this hoodie, I don't mean to keep us going, but this hoodie is not only cool, it's super. You got the one too. It's super comfy too. Like it's a super soft things. I can't remember where I got this from. I got it off a link.
Yeah, so I can't. The link, it's through that Threadless company. So if you if you go on Twitter, our hashtag on Twitter or our handle on Twitter is @punkclassrooms. If you add rock, it's too long. So @punkclassrooms, and we've got a link I think in our bio and our that you can go and get. We got Josh just added another design for a T-shirt.
Cool.
It says it's like hardcore positivity because we were talking a lot about positivity. So
just go follow Mike, connect with him, and ask him. Like that's the best way to do it, right? So
yeah, I'll tell you.
Loving it, awesome. Well, we will see you back here live in our Facebook group on Monday for our start of our daily drop-ins next week. Every day, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. Eastern time, which is 7 a.m. Central time, obviously. And that's it. Look for this being up on the Teach Better Talk podcast, as well as additional episodes as well, and everything else over at teachbetter.com. If you guys need anything at all, please reach out to us. We are at Teach Better Team on everything on social. Go follow Mike, connect with him. He's at EduChef Earnshaw on Twitter. That's the best spot. Go listen to the Punk Rock Classrooms podcast. Go get engaged in the hashtag Education Never Dies chat on Wednesdays. Wednesdays? Yes.
Wednesdays.
You just said that and I lost it. Yes. So get in there. We will see you on Monday. Appreciate all of you. And thank you. Appreciate it, Mike.
Thank you. Have a good weekend, everybody.
Have an awesome day, guys. Make sure you find your punk rock, find what makes you real, and get back to some balance in your life. Enjoy your weekend.